the Ultimate Fatigue Recovery Series. Thank you so much for your genuine interest in wanting to actively change your fatigue health status. And a massive welcome to the Ultimate Fatigue Recovery Series. You're here with me in episode 1, the first key to your recovery. We are going to cover mindset and lifestyle. But before we start and going to the interesting part of this little presentation you have signed up for, let's do a quick housekeeping. Can you actually hear me? Have you unpressed the mute button? I've pre-recorded this episode, so it's about half an hour long. As I know if you have fatigue, long watching times are out of the question. Plus, I want you to be able to pause and play as you wish. So whenever you have the best time, you feel the best, you can just carry on. You can come back to the video. Also, I'm available over the email to answer all your questions. I've sent a link to you to the Fatigue Recovery Facebook group, where I will answer monthly questions you can send in anytime you feel they pop into your head. Before we really dive into details, how to eliminate fatigue, just a little reminder to turn off your phone, close the other tabs, and get rid of all other distractions. Have you got a glass of water, pen and paper? You might want to jot a couple bits down. And I definitely don't want you to run dry, but more about water intake in a little while. Enjoy abundant energy and better long-term health in your golden years, even if you can't find the motivation right now. How many of you feel like that sometimes, or even almost every day? You want abundant energy, but you struggle doing even the most basic of tasks. I will show you how you can truly feel so much more comfortable and confident to get on your path to recovery. Learn how to inject more life force and energy into your body and become fatigue-free. I want you to start your healing process and work towards your life of more energy and optimum health, living your life the way you envision. I'm here to help you make fatigue a feeling and an issue of the past. You're here in the right place if you are ready to take control of your health. You want more energy to live a life of your choice in your later years. You want a formula that will give you transformational long-term results. This series is for you. If you want to go back to bed all of the time, or the thought of having to cook and clean tires you out, this series is for you if you have visited a few doctors and they insist you're fine. You just need to get some rest. But rest is all you seem to do these days. If family gathering leave you depleted, this series is also for you if you long to be active again but can't find your motivation. You're suffering from certain medical conditions that cause fatigue, which traditional medicine is not helping you. As a thank you for buying this Ultimate Fatigue Recovery series, you will receive a link to access your welcome bonuses for episode 1 directly or via your email. You will get 1 sleep meditation playlist, 8 hacks to turn healthy food into something you'll actually want to eat, and the ebook Brain Fog Solution Guide. You also already have received your fatigue checklist and the immune boosting activation. So let's go. Fatigue is different than being tired. When you are tired, you know that if you can just get some sleep, you will feel better. But fatigue is still there when you wake up. It stays with you all day. It is a lack of energy, a feeling of mental, emotional, and physical exhaustion. I think you all agree with me on this quote. What will we be covering in this episode 1? We will cover the origins of fatigue, my case study number 1, highlighting the first stages of fatigue recovery, lifestyle and mindset. And number 3, how to apply this to your own healing journey. A quick intro. Who am I? I'm a registered nurse and biomedical practitioner with over 25 years experience in the health sector. I began in cardiology and general medicine, intensive care, before traveling the world as a nurse. I worked in care homes in Northern Ireland, the NHS in the West Midlands in the UK, and in intensive care and as a faculty in Belize in Central America. My love of nursing and helping my patients led me further into natural approaches to healthcare. I studied then acupuncture, massage for health, bioregulatory medicine, aesthetic procedures, Reiki, homotoxicology, and PRP. I love to travel, try new foods, hike for the reward of beautiful sceneries, dive and ski, but also love a good Netflix and a nap day. I love my 2 boys, Mishi and Leo, and of course, sunflowers, as you can see. What I discovered. Rather than using a one-size-fits-all approach to treat a specific illness or disease, I use bioregulatory medicine, which seeks to understand the unique biology of any individual on multiple levels. Natural healing methods are then employed to support and restore the body's built-in self-healing and self-regulating mechanisms. You have the ability to heal. Your body has the ability to repair, and I'm here to let you know how that is possible. And if I have done it, many of my hundreds of clients have done it, then you can do it too. You just have to really want it. So let me share you how you can. I'm going to share with you a broad overview of what I have learned in my time in Germany and the UK, and I will do my best to keep it free of medical jargon. However, it's important to tie in the vital information, especially because I live and breathe what I'm doing, and there's so much information I really want to share with you guys. And I will be condensing it all into a neatly packed and incredibly useful episode. So let's start at the beginning, the body and how it functions. I'm going to give you an insight into how recovery from fatigue is being successfully achieved by people around the world. I would like to invite you to have a closer look at my unique framework, which is going to restore dysfunction and creates long-term energy restoration. Here you can see 4 elements: the immune system, the detoxification, mindset and lifestyle, which I put on top of the spiral today, and the biofield at the bottom of the spiral. You can see how they are all interlinked with each other. These elements change in the chain of importance slightly depending on what kind of fatigue we're dealing with. I will show you this all in a moment. But fundamentally, there's a synergistic connection between all 4 elements, which when working in synchronicity and efficiently will keep balance in the body. So the body then has all the resources it needs to deal with anything that gets thrown at it, be it of physical, mental, or emotional nature on a daily basis. We want to move the body towards balance, which is also called homeostasis. This is my entire goal, to help you achieve this unified status of health. Now, let's take a look at the different origins of fatigue. So you can see that the same 4 elements do apply to all chronic fatigues. I have categorized them into these groups to make it a little bit easier and given specific fatigue examples to each group, and will quickly point out the interrelation of the 4 elements I just shown you. Group 1 is the biological induced fatigue, which is caused by viruses, which a lot of people have, especially the ones who deal with ME, chronic fatigue syndrome, and now COVID-19, the after effects of COVID-19. The main culprits that are already have plenty of research done for are the Epstein-Barr virus, which can be detected in people with ME, and the herpes virus, which exists in over 60 different variations, and it developed over the past 200 years in us humans. This virus is most often found in people classically diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome. Both viruses, and we can add COVID now to this list, can be transmitted in a number of ways, for example, from mother to fetus in the womb already. Now, we also can mention here flu or the SARS viruses as well, of course. So any kind of virus will create or can create fatigue in our body. So what do you think is the most important element to address here? It is the immune system, as it has to be modulated in order to reduce the viral load, which is already swamping the body. Now, reducing the viral load means we have extra toxins in the body, which need to be removed. So detoxification is the next most important element. Once the viral load is reduced, it needs to be kept at a very minimum level, which is achieved with a balanced lifestyle and our mindset. So we have to learn mental coping mechanisms so we don't create stress in ourselves with everything what's happening around us. The biofield here is the support of organs such as the liver, the kidney, and the brain, or other affected parts of the body during detoxification and beyond. Sometimes it's nerves or other tissues. If you want to read deeper into viruses in our body, why and how it's all related to fatigue, I can recommend getting the book, The Medical Medium, from or by Anthony William. Now let's have a look at group 2. This is the mentally stress-induced fatigue, which can occur through emotional or physical trauma, such as a loss of a loved one, highly stressful situations over a period of time, such as high-powered jobs, high performance-driven activities, or simply being overwhelmed with daily life and body changes, like menopause, of course, or living in a state of high alertness due to exposure to abusive environments. Unfortunately, that exists as well. Examples in this category are fibromyalgia and adrenal fatigue. Now, what do you think? Which element sits on top of the spiral? It's the mindset and lifestyle. Why? It's because we have to learn coping mechanisms. Then we need to address the biofield to deal with symptoms such as pain in fibromyalgia, or to reactivate an exhausted adrenal gland. But in order to address the biofield efficiently, we need to detox the environment and modulate the immune system. All in detail will come much, much later. I hope that this is flowing and making sense so far. Because the best part, how you can start to change your health, is coming up very soon. Now let's have a quick look at group 3. I class it as the reactive fatigue, as it's the biological reaction to underlying health issues, or you could call it a secondary cause of an existing illness. You can see examples of very common health complaints such as asthma, high blood pressure, bowel diseases, And I want to mention cancer here as well. As the nature of cancer, for example, requires really toxic medication to stop the growth and destroy the cancerous cells, the body gets very overloaded with toxins. So what do you think would be the element we need to look at first in this group? It is the biofield, as we have to support the detoxifying organs first while doing aggressive detoxification, but also need to modulate the immune system. That is very important when changing the biofield. And last but not least, address the lifestyle and change our mindset so the quality of life can be as quickly restored or raised to the highest level possible. I hope that makes sense to you. Now, let's quick look at group number 4, which is the hardest really to influence, and people who have an irreversible fatigue or an issue in their body. It is basically just an adaptation process we can influence a little bit, as we have to deal lifelong with the effects of this deficit, which is created in the DNA. So DNA defects are irreversible, but we can influence them by addressing the immune system again, detoxing, and constantly trigger the biofield so that the body is able to perform to its best ability, while we would have to learn, obviously, coping mechanisms and adjust our lifestyle accordingly to give the body the chance to be as balanced as possible. A couple of examples, as you can see, is, for example, sickle cell disease or the mitochondrial disease. In the case of certain diseases like COPD, emphysema, or bronchiectasis, heart conditions, Parkinson's, congenital diseases, or insulin-dependent diabetes, it may not be possible to eliminate the root cause, but it is possible to ring-fence the damage and help your body to function more effectively, and with that, increasing the quality of your life. So which group do you think your symptoms fit in? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Make a note of it. Let's go to our case study number 1. My new friend Gaina. We're going to look at the first key to fatigue recovery, which is willpower and starting the process. So we're going to look at lifestyle and mindset. Now let's meet Gaina. Gaina is a retired teacher from Chorley in the Lancashire district, here in the UK. She embarked on her recovery journey in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. She was amongst the first of a number of my online clients, and her story of achieving optimum health is an incredibly honest one. Now, let me tell you a little bit of her background. Gaina had an emotional trauma due to her husband passing away over 10 years ago. She couldn't face the world at all. Her body went into a shock state as her emotions, thoughts, and feelings couldn't cope with the loss. She became over anxious and stopped talking to her close friends as she couldn't deal with the sympathy and pity. Avoiding any scenario which would trigger facing her dilemma of being alone, feeling lonely, and having to process the loss of her partner of a lifetime. Her world just fell apart, but she never told anyone how she felt and that she wasn't able to deal with it. So her mountain became insurmountable. Now, what are overloading factors Gaina kind of didn't look at or ignored while she was in this long grieving process? Let's have a look at them and how we can influence those. So let's name them. stress. Obviously, hers was emotional stress, an unbalanced diet. She admitted she eats a lot of flour. She likes to eat toast when she feels not so well. Fatigue set in of many, many reasons. She had underlying health issues. She is aging. No exercise really, not enough fresh air, are all negative influencing factors. I want to talk about one of the biggest, which is stress really, and how you can positively affect your body dealing with stressful situations. I figured stress is something everyone deals with on a daily basis. Is that right? It shows up in many disguises, and very often we are not even aware how we bring on stress into the body itself. Now let's have a look at our spiral again. We are at element number 1, the mindset and lifestyle. I want to show you that with the right guidance and support in a structured manner, we can do a lot ourselves to improve and provoke quantum leaps of positive changes and create energy resources for the times when life just tumbles us about. With lifestyle changes and mind training, we can learn, adapt, and transform our mental belief system and evolve out of our own restrictions. And when we, on top of it all, can identify health issues, get them treated, which we come to it in episode number 2, and then are highly alert to subtle changes we then address immediately, then we not only have all the energy we want, but we are in fact reducing the aging process of our bodies. Little side note here. Our biological age is over 140 years, but most people die before they even get to 100. Why do you think is that? Because our lifestyle, environment, behavior, beliefs, traumas, born dispositions literally suck the energy out of our body, which in return shortens our lifespans. How do we influence our mind? The mind is a very powerful tool that we can influence to our advantage. I really love this quote. She stood in the storm, and when the wind did not blow her way, she adjusted her sail. With the right mindset and integrated self-help mechanisms, you can adjust your body's reaction to certain, normally very stressful, creating situations. Deal with those situations in a calm, clear, and confident manner, which in return does not put any strain on your body's energy production. Therefore, no deficiencies are created, and you simply have more energy to help you through whatever gets thrown at you. I know it sounds great in theory, but let's look at how we can apply it. Let's look at Gaina. She put her trust in me and the process of the program I'm offering. She was faithful in making adjustments and sticking to them. She implemented all the steps I shared with her and actively took charge of working towards better health and a renewed lifestyle. She was open to my guidance, advice, and support, and she made the changes necessary to transform her own life. Gaina influenced her mindset with the monthly coaching modules I shared with her, and she went on to make step-by-step lifestyle changes. At her own pace, really. Some she implemented fast, the other ones took a little bit longer. But she used her willpower. And if she had a bad day, she got motivation from me. This helped and promoted better balance within her body, and therefore she was able to rebuild her energy resources. What lifestyle changes do you think are necessary for you. Write them down. After working in the bioregulatory field for more than 10 years, I have built a resource of advice that truly works. Here we go. Let's have a look. Let's look at my favorite, water. Let me introduce you to the magic of water. Look at the list of issues which can be influenced positively when drinking good quality water in the right amount according to our body weight on an average day without exercising. I'm between 70 and 75 kilos, light, heavy, whichever you like to say. And I should be drinking around 3 liters of water or fluid in general to be adequately hydrated. So we've got to have a couple notes here I would like to mention. It takes up to 6 weeks for the body to get out of chronic dehydration with adequate intake of the recommended amount. If you do not feel thirsty on a daily basis, that means you are chronically dehydrated. This will reverse in time and it takes up to 6 weeks. Coffees, green teas, and English tea do not count as they have substances in them which take the water straight back out of the body. So the body cannot make use of the fluids as it needs really. Quality of water is very important too, especially in areas where chlorine is added in the drinking water. So my advice is to get a water filter under your sink, which filters all big particles, does reverse osmosis, and alkalizes the water. But if this is not in your budget, get a filter that at least reduces the bigger particles, which will include chlorine. Chlorine is quite an allergen. If you think about going swimming in an indoor swimming pool and you see how quickly your eyes get red if you're not wearing goggles. Do you remember that? Now, are you surprised at how important hydration is? Now let's go to the next big issue. Nutrition. Let's carry on. I would like to delve a little bit into nutrition and the importance of quality diet, which can be defined as high intake of a wide variety of plant-based foods, which include vegetables, fruits, whole grains, nuts, and seeds. A moderate intake of quality protein, such as seafood, lean meats, and dairy, and a low intake of processed foods. The wrong diet can play a big part in mental and physical health, as diet quality and mental outcomes are directly linked to physiological processes. Poor diet and poor mental health are the leading causes of mortality and morbidity worldwide. Studies show that we don't consume enough whole grain, fruit, vegetables, legumes, nuts, and seeds. But we do eat too much processed meat, sugar-sweetened beverages, and sodium, which is salt. I have created an extensive module on nutrition within the Fatigue Recovery Formula, which Gaina delved into with enthusiasm and adjusted her food consumption accordingly. And after just a few weeks, she saw a healthy weight loss and more stamina without even really trying. A balanced diet should also provide essential vitamins and minerals, of course, that the body requires. However, many of us are deficient in essential micronutrients for a wide variety of reasons, and therefore nutritional supplements are required for optimum health and well-being. Even if we think we are having a really healthy and balanced diet, deficiencies will be most likely present due to the general depletion of nutritional value in the growing fruits and vegetables we buy these days. Plus, high toxicity levels within the foods we eat and many stress factors we face on a daily basis, which demand a higher supply of micronutrients than many years ago. I always talk about the importance of supplementing and how quality and combination and strengths are vital to be actually making a difference within the body. On this slide, you can see the complete list of all supplements required for fatigue recovery. You all should have received the checklist where I mentioned the absolute minimum you should be taking when dealing with fatigue and in general, really. Just to recap, I will mention them again. It's omega-3, CoQ10, vitamin C, and Siberian ginseng. These need to be taken in therapeutic dosages, not as a recommended daily allowance dose, as we need to elevate the body out of its emergency coping state. I hope that cleared up a little bit. Now, so I hope I've given you lots and lots of valuable advice, which Gaina has taken in her stride and succeeded. As a 67-year-old, Gaina was absolutely tired and unable to do very much at all. She almost accepted that this would be her life now. But now her health and well-being have transformed and she is living life on her own terms. Gaina's blood pressure has lowered, her ankle and back pain has completely disappeared, and she wakes up feeling well rested and motivated every day. She's able to complete all her housework and daily tasks. She's walking much further than she ever did, and all because she wants to and enjoys it. Gaina's cooking and baking again, and her grandchildren stay over now, which is something she's always loved but didn't have the energy for anymore. She has taken up her old hobbies and has even contacted her best friend after almost 3 years. Gaina has invited her family over again for the first time in years. She is enjoying spending time with her grandchildren, not watching the clock and wondering when they are leaving so she can have a rest. She's getting up at a more regular time and today has a better flow with a daily routine that keeps her motivated. She's healthier, fitter, and happier now, and she has all the tools and knowledge to keep taking care of her body whilst living life to the fullest. Her enthusiasm has returned and she's enjoying things again, wanting to get outdoors and not hide away from the world. She feels more valued and a better person within herself. But don't just take my word for it. Let's see what Gaina has to say. Here's one of her numerous messages I received during her program time. She just sent emails and messages like this constantly on Messenger to me. So you can read that for yourself. And it gives me really the motivation to carry on and spread my knowledge to as many people as possible and help them. And as everyone has to train for a marathon, I am here for you to help you become fatigue-free. I have put all my knowledge and all the tools I have used to heal myself and my clients into the method I'm describing in these 3 episodes of the Ultimate Fatigue Recovery series. Will you embrace the joy of abundant vitality? Are you ready to be surprised when discovering what really is possible for you? What do you want out of the rest of your life? Write it down. Email it to me. What would you change if you had a magic wand? Do you need some form of transformation like Gaina? Are you ready to step in that direction, even if it's tiny little steps? Are you ready to make a leap towards what you still want out of your life? I invite you to think of a word that symbolizes what you want to achieve in your health recovery journey. Write it down and post it later in the Facebook group. This is your chance to really take control of your health and in turn start living life the way that you want. I have an exclusive offer for you within this episode. It's the coaching masterclass. What you will get with this coaching masterclass is 12 weeks video modules which address a different health aspect every week. It's including improving sleep, nutrition, the digestive system, mindfulness in daily life, physical imbalances, mastering thought patterns, building inner strength and confidence, and so much more. You get 2 monthly group coaching sessions within the Facebook group where you can ask your questions, get guidance, talk to other members, and get your support. You get 24/7 support through a members only fatigue bootcamp Facebook group and via email with me. I'll be there with you all the way. You will get lifetime access to this series of 12 masterclasses and gain the wisdom with which to win the war against your weariness. In these foundational modules, you will learn the rituals and routines that motivate you, which are the essential first steps to fighting fatigue yourself. And for you today, it's only for £279. Now, look at all these happy messages. Will I add yours to it? I really would love to. Opt in and change your life today. Now, in episode 2, we will be covering underlying health issues. We're going to look at balance and energy, supporting medical treatments, what is bioregulated medicine, and how we achieve complete health with homeostasis. So I'm really looking forward to see you in episode 2. So don't forget to send your questions either via email or in the Facebook group. I can answer them in my next Q&A session. And have a lovely rest of your day. I'll see you in episode 2. Bye.